Hi friends, it's Chari. Welcome back to my channel and another FLOSSTUBE video. Today is FLOSSTUBE 31. If you missed FLOSSTUBE 30, that was one that we did live, me and my sister. And I know that YouTube does not always put lives in the same place as other videos, so I know not as many people have watched it just because I can see the views and I see that it hasn't been watched as much. So if you missed that one, I will put a link in the description below. It's always on the YouTube channel. There's all the tabs at the top, and if you hit live, you'll find it there. It's the only one there. It is also in my FLOSSTUBE playlist as FLOSSTUBE 30, but because we filmed it in a different way and it wasn't uploaded in the same way, YouTube puts it in a different place. So I think that's why not as many people have seen it. So I'll put a link in the description below in case you missed it. You can go watch it if you want to. I am going to share some of the things I shared in that FLOSSTUBE. Also, a winner for STACI'S giveaway. I haven't heard from the winner for my giveaway, so I'll go over that again because it's a possibility they haven't seen it. I have a lot to share today. There was a new Poshta Design release this past weekend, and I was grateful to Lizzie that she asked me to help her make projects with the new release. And so I'm going to share all my projects that I made with the new release and links to all those new stitching dies. Yeah, it was really fun. I love fall, and I'm really glad that I got to participate in the fall release. I had a lot of fun making my projects, so I can't wait to share them with you. I want to make more. It's just sometimes I just don't have time. I also hope to maybe make some of these into tutorials. I did film them when I was making them, but I just don't always have time to edit. Like when I've worked all day, editing in my free time when I'd rather be stitching and creating stuff is really hard. So we'll see. I think that might be it. I'll just jump right in to, I'm going to start with the felt stitching before I get to my cross stitch with my haul and everything like I normally do. So we'll do felt stitching first. So I'm not going to flip my camera just yet because a couple of these are kind of big, so I need to kind of hold them up. So one of the first things I want to show you is this wreath. This has two different releases from Poshta Design on it. The mushrooms are the woodland toadstool die, and the leaves are the falling leaves number 2. So she had a falling leaves before, and now there's even more leaf shapes because we have like the ginkgo. I forgot what she said. I think this one is a willow, oak. Anyway, so that is the woodland toadstool and the falling leaves. And then this color story that this one is stitched in is the Heritage Harvest, I believe, which honestly I wasn't so sure I was going to be into because it's very muted colors, but I think it turned out really pretty. Yeah, I really love how it turned out. So it is the green, the yellow, russet, I believe the heathered one, and the purple, and I added a couple more in there to do my mushrooms. I just got this wreath from Michael's along with the moss that I tucked in, and I just think it turned out so pretty. This one hangs on my pantry door in my kitchen, and I just hang it over the top of the door onto a hook that's at the top to hold the aprons inside. So yep, there's that. Now I'll show you another project I did with the falling leaves. Actually, I'm going to show you a couple other things before that one because I can flip my camera for that one. The other fun, really fun dies she had are the Monster Mash collection, which are monsters for Halloween. So I made some treat bags. I did a lot of sewing. This is Frankie. So I made this treat bag. Now this one is taller than the other two. I sewed him a little low when I got done, but I took that as an opportunity for embellishment and added a little bow at the top. Then this one is Dracula. I love the little added bead that I added for his beauty mark. I think that's really fun. And then this one is Zombie. Go focus. There we go. He's crazy. I love his brains and his crazy eyes. The purple brains, I think, is so much fun. So we have Zombie, and this is just a simple treat bag. Oh, there's a card in here. There's a treat in there. Just a simple treat bag. I made a practice one first to make sure that I could handle it, and that I made a couple changes in making these. I added the border at the top. My practice one didn't have that. It was just all one color. I also got rid of the interfacing for the lining because it was just a little bit too much. I used the fusible fleece on the outside part and quilted it, but I didn't do an interfacing on the lining. I didn't feel like that was necessary. So I'm going to show you again. There's the Zombie, and I'll have links to all these dies down in the description below. And of course we have Dracula, so cute. He actually has some, I don't know if you can see it, his fangs I cut from some like glittery felt, but they're so small it's hard to see. And then we have Frankie. He's really cute. I want to make a girl Frankie that's pink with a bow. I think that will be really cute. So there are the treat bags, and hopefully she comes up with more monsters next year. I told her I was ready to help when the monsters came out. So now I'm going to flip my camera to my desktop because the other projects I have to share are smaller. So here is the other one that uses the falling leaves too, but I used them as trees, obviously. I think they made some perfect trees because they're long and tall and skinny, so some really nice topiaries. This is a little pillow I made with some Lori Holt. I believe it's the Autumn collection that came out last year. And then I just appliqued my felt trees on there, added my embellishments. And then the acorn is also part of the Falling Leaves 2 die set, and I made this teeny tiny little pillow, and I think these look really cute tucked in my dough bowl. I use the Hayride color story from Poshta for this because the color stories have 5 colors with matching floss and matching sequins and beads. So it's a really nice way to get everything together in one package. So I'll link that below too. And the other thing, let's see, she has a new sunflower. This is called Sunflower Season. I made a little barrette for your hair, but I also made a scarf for Scout, and I can put a picture here of Scout in her scarf because it is so cute. Not a scarf, sorry, a bandana. It's a bandana. I just used a bandana I had already gotten for her. Now it's a little long. I do have to like roll it, and then I put a snap on it, but I'd rather it be too big and be able to roll it and adjust it than it be too tight. So there's a little bandana for Scout and a little matching hair accessory for me using the Sunflower Season die. This one's really easy to put together. Obviously, I didn't even use the leaves on this one, just the sunflower. And so all you do is stack the pieces and stitch around the circle. And I actually cut a circle in a coordinating felt to put on the back so that you didn't see my stitches. So I stitched through the brown circle, the 2 layers of the petals, and the circle to adhere it or to tack it to my bandana. And then this one I did use the leaves. You just stitch these around here. I have 2 together, and then you stitch all the pieces together. So this one is going through a lot. We have 5 layers with the center, the 2 layers of petals, and then the green is 2 layers together, but I just think this one's so pretty. I still think it goes together really easy. So that is Sunflower Season. Here's the little card that was in my treat bag there. The new product for this release was a cover plate that cuts the holes so you can stitch the spider web. So that was what I was using that was new. The letters are not new. I just made a spider with a circle, but I stitched it out of some silver metallic, which was really fun, onto cardstock. But this does not cut the outside edge. It only cuts the spider web. So you could put this spider web on any kind of project. I think it would be cool on the statement alphabet letters, which are the big letters. I actually made a banner. I'm going to have to grab that because I didn't bring it over here. but that is the cobweb coverall. Next up is the Haunted Mansion, and I wanted to do this in some non-traditional colors. You can see I use the falling leaves as trees again. I told you they made great trees, which I just think framed this up so nicely. And I just put some interfacing. Actually, I sewed my two cloths or my two pieces of fabric together and gave myself a ground line. I had ironed a piece of interfacing on the pink already, so the black didn't actually have interfacing on it, just because I kind of forgot. I was like, oh yes, I need to add a ground for this house to sit on so it's not floating. But the interfacing helped with the stitching. So I stitched everything together, and then I cut the solid piece and stitched the assembled piece and the solid piece to my fabric already in the hoop. I put it in the hoop. I never took it out of the hoop, so it was nice and taut. I stitched my trees first, and then I put the house on there. The little bats are from the Erie Apothecary set, but I think they're a great little addition. I forget the name of this fabric. I think it's like Hello Boo or Hey Boo. I don't know. It's My Mind's Eye. I can list it below. And this is just a 7-inch frame or 7-inch hoop, so it fits perfect. And then I finished it off. I gathered it up and pulled it together, and then I cut a 7-inch circle of felt and blanket stitched around, and then just added my little tag there. And what's fun about this is you could hang it or set it on an easel. I actually painted, this is the stand that comes with the shiplap circle from Chantel, the frame, which I'll link below. And I just painted it black, and this fits in it perfect. So cute. I think I told Chantel, I feel like this looks like two witch feet coming out from underneath a house, like the boot. We need some stripy socks. Anyway, and I have another Haunted Mansion project that is just the house. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to finish this off yet, but this one uses fabric. So this is Tim Holtz fabric. I stiffened it up with Terrio Magic, which is a liquid that you can soak the fabric in, then you iron it, and it makes it stiff like paper, so you can die cut it really nicely. And then I layered each of those fabric pieces onto a piece of felt and stitched it together. What I really like about this one is the spider webs in the windows, because the fabric had the spider webs on it, which is fun. I also added a little Tim Holtz Ideology spider and a little, you can see it, a screw head, and that is the door handle. I had a bead there, but then I was like, no, this fits better. And I just glued those on with some E6000 glue. I think what I want to do with this is create like a little shadow box. So I need to find myself like a little box and like embellish around it. I think that would be cute to make like a little scene. For now, it's just kind of like something you could tuck in a bowl, I guess. But there's two very different versions of that same Haunted Mansion. There are little ghosts in the die. I just didn't use them, and boards that you can board up the windows if you want. But I didn't use those in my projects. Let's see. One more new release from Poshta Design was the Let's Play collection, which is actually sports themed. So we have a soccer ball, a volleyball, a football, and the cheer megaphone, which I stitched NCSU on. That is I am a NC State alumni. And what I did was I created a whole banner with the statement alphabet. Let me unwrap it here. We actually have a football game today, first game of the season, and we're playing my husband's team. So we ended the season in an in-house rivalry, and we're going to begin it that way too. But what I did with these is I stitched little magnets under these little white circles. So each of these has magnets. This one has the magnet attached to it. Let me find my other little magnet. So there's a magnet under the felt circle that these on the other side are attracted to. And the reason why I did this is so that you could change out your decorations on your banner or your banner. So football season, we're gonna have a football. Then comes soccer, or let's say volleyball, because that's the one I picked up. We're gonna have a volleyball. So I need to flip my magnet. But the reason why I kind of did it this way is so that you could change it out to whatever. It's very versatile. You only have to make one banner and then change it out, whichever sport you're rooting for. And the magnets just hold through the cardstock. So this is one layer of felt, one layer of cardstock, and I just stitched them together. There's no stuffing in there or anything. And even this one, it goes on the K, because I just think it fits better. But I like that you could change it up to whichever letters work. Sorry, my magnets are flipped the wrong way, so they're moving around on me. There we go. So that's the Let's Play collection. So volleyball, football, cheerleading, which there is a die that cuts the word cheer in here. You don't have to, or you could have it solid. And the soccer ball. I have had some questions about my organization for my felt stitching, and this is not going to fit on the screen. So let me switch back to me. This is like, I call it a tackle box. It's not a tackle box. It's, you know, a little storage box that I got off Amazon. I started with the smaller size and had to upgrade to the bigger size, but it folds open. So you have two little shelves and then the bottom. And I have all the colors for all of my felt in the top. In the next row down, I have a bunch of these that I picked up. This is, I'm gonna have to put the name below because they're not in the package. I used this on it's a Cosmo product. It's the same thing, it's just the spool's different. But I used the variegated purple on a project and it was great. It was almost like the 3 strands of the 6-strand floss already together, the thickness was, so I bought some more. In the bottom, I have my little color swatches. I swatched out all my colors. So I have a neutral band or ring, warm colors, and cool colors. And on the back of each of them, I just used a tag die. I have the name of the color and the number for the matching DMC so that I always know what it is. I also created some color story cards for my color stories because I broke them all apart. I used to try to keep them together and I realized I had all kinds of repeats of colors, and so I unrolled them, I broke them apart. So that's my kind of tackle box of stuff. In the top I have like needles and scissors, and I have some sequins, I have my needle book, I got some things to make antennas for bees and some jingle bells. So all the stuff I have in this box basically, except for the felt, which I'll show you the felt. They're in these boxes. I have 2 of them. So kind of all the warm colors are in one, up to greens, and then the others are in this. And my colors are in these little envelopes. I have a piece of cardstock. It makes it really easy to slide them in and out. And I just took my rolls and kind of folded them back and forth. This is great. And I like it because, like, for instance, this, I can put my scraps in there. These are an envelope. I can link these below too, but I just cut off the tabs, so it's just a pocket now. And I have my color names. And then everything goes in the box, and it works great. It works great for pulling out colors. And then I took my rolls that I had multiples of and put them out in the garage, and I can just go grab one when I'm about out of a color. So that's Poshta organization, or I shouldn't say Poshta organization, my felt organization. So hopefully that's helpful. I'll put links to all those things in the description box below. So let me go back to my desk. and we can talk about haul. I don't have a lot, just a little. I went to Sassy Jack's a couple weekends ago, 2 weeks ago, just to get some colors of stuff. I didn't get any charts. I got colors I needed, but I always go look in the fabric room, and I came across this little piece. It's cut down to an eighth, a fat eighth. So it was a small piece, and it's called Gray Sand by Shakespeare's Peddler, and I just really like the color. So I picked that up at Sassy Jack's, which is my local needlework shop. I always like to go there first for colors if possible. And then I got an order from Color and Cotton that included some new colors. But I also got a pre-order for some fabric, so it took a while. I don't even think these are the newest ones anymore. I think they just dropped some more new colors. So I had to wait. But then the color I got is called Spellbound, which is a nice gray. I'd say it's a little more cool toned. This is very warm toned, which I tend to go more towards the warm tone, but I thought this might be good maybe for like a Halloween stitch. So that is my Color and Cotton haul. And then I also got my Project Sweetwater box, which this box is Emmett and Ivy. So you got a charm pack, a dessert roll. There's some tags, some thread tag. They all say the same thing. Christmas is better with a quilt, which I think is really cute. And then, of course, the projects, which the projects in this one are a stocking, this quilt, and some tags. The pieces to make the tags are in here too. Yeah, and I think the next box is Lucky. I haven't made any of my things from these boxes yet, so I did pause my subscription until I can quit collecting them and do something with them. So that is my little bit of haul. So now on to new starts. I have started a few new things since my last floss tube. And this is not ironed, but that's okay. I've also kitted up some things, so we'll talk about that too. So this is a Tomato Hill by Plum Street Samplers, and I am stitching this on 40 count flannel flower by Fox and Rabbit. I really love this fabric, by the way. And it is all the called for colors. I changed one out. This is not a called for. I changed out, I believe Clockwork was the one I changed out. These two colors right here, Clockwork and Chrysanthemum, were supposed to be together, and I just feel like they weren't different enough to tell that I'm stitching two different colors. So I switched out, I think it was this one. I don't have my chart in here to know for this one. So you can see I've got those colors stitched here. But like these two were meant to be outside and the inside, and to me that was awfully close. So I have some more yellowy tomatoes happening on mine, or to me I feel like they look like pumpkins. I know they're tomatoes, but it has a very pumpkin-y feel to it. I'm not 100% sure about the White House. I need to stitch it on here and see what it looks like. Hopefully it'll show up. I might need to just edge the edges, which I've done white on this fabric before for another project, and I think I ended up tracing it with a pale gray so it stood out. So that might be an option. So that is Tomato Hill. So that's a new little start. I stitched most of this in one night, actually, at least all the green. So I just need to finish that one up. It's a cute, quick little stitch. Let's see, another new start. I kitted up a bunch of things that I've had for a while. Let me find the picture. There it is. Which is Autumn Splendor by Brenda Gervais, and I've stitched on this a couple nights. And here's how far I've got. I don't have too much more to do, really just the frame. I need to go back and do the beak and the legs. I'm one stitch off. That one little black stitch right there should be on the other side of the leg. So I haven't gone back and fixed that just yet. I am using the called for colors for this one, which are All Weeks Dye Works. And I'm stitching this on 36 count Saltbush by Fox and Rabbit. And I think it looks pretty good. I wasn't sure how well the putty and the light khaki were going to show up, but I think they're really pretty. I kind of like the subtleness of it, that they're not so bright. So I really like where this is headed, and I want to finish this one up. I bought this last year, and so I was determined to kit some things I bought last year and get going, and so that is what I am doing. I have a bunch in this bag. The other two I haven't started. I will share them with you, though, when we talk about plans. Whips I have going. I don't think I've touched this since the last FLOSSTUBE, which was the live one, but I'm going to show it anyway. This is the sampler from Between Friends, which is Hands-On Design and Summer House Stitch Works. I need to pick this back up and get going on the letters, but I got distracted by starting new things, so I just haven't gotten back to it. This is stitched on 32 count Prairie Land by Atomic Ranch, and it is the called for DMC. So I just need to kind of get onto this. I want to do all the samplers. I have all the books, and hopefully make a frame where I can kind of change out the pieces. And I really like this look with the fabric behind it, which is not something I've done before. So I'm looking forward to that finish. So that hasn't really gotten much progress, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I showed this last time, but I don't think I've done much on it since last time either. I'm not sure. This is thread white and blue, and this is the pin cushion. This is where I started up here, but now I'm to the center. And I'm working on that kind of wreath area. This is stitched on 36 count Boston by, I believe it's Seraphim. Yeah, there it is. I really love this color. I've used it on another project, and I just love it. I don't know why, I really like it. So that, yeah, I need to get on to. I'm okay. I know it's kind of patriotic and summer, but I'm okay just working on it intermittently between the fall projects. I need to make the needle book as well because I finished the stitching on that part. This is sort of new, but not new because this is 3 different patterns. So this was the one I was working on before. I finished it, although I realized I need to go back and do a border around it. I took it off the frame before I read all the instructions that said I should do a border around it. So that was this one. And now I have started on this one. So this is the center. So that's Christmas stars. This is Hands-On Design. This was a Jingle Ball pattern, so you can't buy this right now. But I really like having this as kind of a different project on the canvas. It's kind of fun. And it goes pretty quick. And you stitch those with pearl cotton, so it's a little bit fatter. I would love to do some like fall harvest colors. Kind of hoping she'll come out with some others in fall colors. All right, now on to finishes. I have 2 finished. Well, this isn't completely finished, but it's pretty close. It has French knots, and if you're new here, I don't like French knots. So there's French knots around the little vine, and there's actually some in the strawberries, these little strawberries. To me, French knots are just an opportunity for some beads. So I actually went and got some beads. Probably going to use these because they match really well, and do some beads on there. So anyway, this is Heart in Hand, Doodles Maker. and they're all the called for colors. It's not the called for fabric though. I don't even know what the called for fabric is, but this is Wild Honey 37 count by Legacy Linen that I got at Sassy Jack's. It's a giant piece of fabric. I finally cut it down and ironed it to share today. And I'm not sure how I'm going to finish this. I don't know if I want it a frame. I do like the frame in the picture. We'll see. But it's pretty much done other than the beads. I had so many, well, I shouldn't say so many. I had projects that were like this close to being finished. And I was like, Chari, stop starting things and just go finish it. So that's what I did. And this is another one. I was really close to finishing. All I needed to do were the bees and the hive and that little 1/1 ladybug. So this one is the drawn thread. This is Simply Summer. This is also on that Prairie Land by Atomic Ranch. 32 count. I did all the seasons on the same fabric, and I'm going to frame them in such a way that I can hopefully switch them out. But yeah, I did make a change on this one. I used the call for threads. Let me get them out of my thing here. So these are the called for, and then I pulled Dried Thyme is not called for. It was in the spring one. That's what I used for the word summer because it wanted the word summer and the leaves of the tree to be all the same. I just felt like I wanted something a little different. So, but summer is done, which means they are all done. So we have autumn, which I finished last year. I sat on the porch when we had no power after Hurricane Helene, and I did all these satin stitch leaves. So it's been almost a year because that was the end of September. So less than a year since I did these. So I did autumn, and I did winter. I did spring, and here is summer. So I need to cut these apart, and I ordered a frame. It fits in a 5x7, but it's like really close. So I ordered a custom frame, or not custom really, it's a 8x6. So it's going to be a little bigger. So that is Simply Summer by the Drawn Thread. And I'm glad to have that kind of little series done, and now I need to just finish it up and find a place to display it. Let's talk plans. I'm going to go back to this one that has the Autumn Splendor in it because I have two other Brenda Gervais charts in here. So When Pumpkins Glow, which I bought last year. I have all the threads kitted up. And Woodland Witch, which I also have all the threads kitted up for her too. I don't think I want to do her whole, I just really want to do the cloche. And maybe figure out a way to kind of scooch these mushrooms over. But I have picked out fabric for both of them. I want to do When Pumpkins Glow on the flannel flower. And I'll probably pick this area that's a little more modeled for that one. And then for Woodland Witch, which I did a Halloween stitch on flannel flower last year, which I might share in a couple episodes when I do like a Halloween stitch parade. And then I also stitched something on this last year, which is Eastwick by Needle and Flax. And it is 40 count as well. And that's what I want to do her on. And I think she'll show up really nicely, especially all these little white stars. I don't think they show up very well in this picture, but I think they're going to show up great on this fabric. So those are some fall and Halloween stitches I have kitted up to get started on. Another one from last year that I never got started on is Autumn Calls by Hands On Design. I actually pulled all the DMC threads. Let's get them out. Well, I'm missing one. And then thought maybe I could look in my stash and get some overdyed. So I've pulled out some overdye that I think I'm going to substitute all these for those, and I may just keep the brown. And I'm going to use this 36 count dark soil by XG Designs instead of the charcoal. I just think it's going to look really cool. So that is also in my kitted up plans to start at some point. I got a lot of things kitted up. I figure if they're kitted, I'm more likely to get going, right? And then in my little Halloween bag here, I have some charts from Autumn Lane Stitchery that I bought last year. And I have all the DMC floss for all of these. I think I might start this one first. I almost started it last night actually, but I didn't. It's just DMC floss, so no big deal. And I think I'm going to do this one on this chai. And I think I'm going to do these guys on Haunted. I think that would look really good. This is a little deceiving. This is stitched. This is a computer one, but when you look at the directions, they're both stitched on the same color fabric. I think those are going to look good on that. And actually, when I went to Home Goods a couple weeks ago, we have a new Home Goods. We went looking. I found some fun frames that I think will work for these. So yeah, those are my plans. It's a lot of plans. And I'm sure there are more that will come out that I will want to add to it, including Primrose Cottage just came out with a couple new ones today, and the Salem Sisters Sweet Shop, I think it is really cute. So I might have to do that one. I did the Apothecary. I did not do the Stitchery, but the Sweet Shop I really like. Last thing are giveaways, which this was my giveaway from a couple floss tubes ago, which are some Christmas charts and some Lugana to go with it. And I'll have to put up the name here. I did share it in the live, but I don't think as many people have watched that. So it is 823 Nori. So I'll put your comment here, and if you could email me at the email below, I will get that out to you. Okay, so the winner for Stacy's giveaway, which was the Crow, which is a kit from the Friend Stitch we did. It has the hoop, it has the fabric. I don't know if it has the chart. Yeah, the chart, the hoop, like the finishing stuff, and the fabric, and the instructions on how to finish it. The winner of that, I will put it up here, is SB4685. So if you will email me, I know this is Stacy's giveaway, but you can email me at the email below, and I will send this out to you. So that is the winners for the past couple videos. All right, today we're going to have a Halloween themed giveaway, and let me get it out here. I have the Primrose Cottage 13 Spooky Smalls to give away. I have stitched a couple of these, and I am ready to pass this along to a new person to stitch some of these up. So there are 13 charts in this, and I am also going to pair it up with a kind of spooky gray. This is a Lugana. Hold it up. It is a 28 count Lugana, and it's called Knight in Shining Armor, and it is from Seraphim Fabrics. So the card just fell off, so that will be with it too, so you know what the heck it is. So that is 13 Spooky Smalls with some fabric. So if you will use the word spooky in your comment, please be 18, please live in the United States, and please leave a comment with the word spooky somewhere in it. Let's see what it's today. Let's do by September 12th. So a little more than 2 weeks. And then I will pick a winner for that. So if the other winners could contact me and then also leave the word spooky. So I think that's all for today. That was a lot. That was a longer video than normal. I had a lot of things to share. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. I love hearing comments from you. Even if you don't want to win the spooky prize, I still love to read all your comments, and I try to respond to all of them as well. So thank you so much for spending time with me today, and happy stitching. Bye.